Hi, welcome back to my channel and knitting podcast. If you're new here, hi, my name is Oline and I'm a knitter from Norway. And on this podcast, I talk a bit about what's currently on my needles, what I've finished in the last month, if I've gotten any new yarn, if I want to get any new yarn, if I have some specific knitting plans, or just anything knitting related really. But I thought before we get into all of that, I'd talk about what I'm wearing. And I'm wearing the Direction Loop sweater by Otherloops, and I've knit mine in Drops Baby Merino in the color Electric Blue, I think, and Light Grey. And I think those together look really nice, and I was a bit unsure before I started if I was going to do the blue as like the main color or if I wanted to do grey, because I thought maybe if I did it in grey it would be easier to use and suit more occasions and more clothing. But I'm so happy that I decided to knit it with blue as the main color, because blue is my favorite color and I just think it turned into such a statement piece because the blue is quite bright as well. And also another favorite thing with this striped sweater for me is the shoulders. I really like that the stripes go in different directions on the shoulders, and then when you pick up stitches the stripes go in this direction. I was in between this Direction Loop sweater and the Lyon sweater by Petiteknit, but I wanted a sweater where the stripes went all the way up to the neck, and with this you really get that. There's stripes everywhere, and I also really like the detail in the back here. As you can see, the stripes go in this direction behind the neck as well, and I think that's also a lovely detail. And another really cool detail with this has a lot of cool details, is that on the ribbing here, as you can see, here is regular stockinette and here starts the ribbing, but the stripes continue through the ribbing. So if you see from afar, you don't really see any breakup on the ribbing, and I think that's super cool to carry the stripe all the way down. That was not what the pattern called from on the body, but I am considering ripping back and doing it on the body as well, because I think it looks super cool, even though it was a bit more work to like carry the yarn all the way to the end of the sleeve, but well worth it. And now I have another striped sweater in my closet. Before this one I only had the Marseille sweater. I have that here so I can show you. Oh. Let's see, before this one I only had the Marseille sweater, and as you can see that's way more of a neutral knit, but still striped, but just a very basic white and black striped. And as you can see as well, the stripes don't go all the way up to the neck here. So this year when I made the striped sweater, I wanted the stripes all the way up, and I wanted a more like statement piece of a sweater, and I definitely think I got that. So now I have a really comfortable striped sweater to wear, both if I want a statement piece or if I just want something super plain and simple. And I definitely have to say that so far this has kind of replaced the spot the Marseille sweater had. These are both knit in quite similar yarn. This is knit in Drops Merino Extra Fine, and this is knit in 2 strands of Drops Baby Merino, so that's very similar. So I think as time goes on and this is not such a new knit, I will use both of these about the same amount. But I really love the details that this has. This has a lot of cool details as well, but I think this sweater really elevates like the striped details, and I almost want another one in like a neutral color as well. But I really like the thing I've got going on now with like one striped sweater a year, so I think I'll stick to that. But moving on from this was definitely my biggest knit this month. This weighed 700 grams, so this is a big boy. But this has also been the month for really big knits. I've been knitting and finishing quite a few knit projects and also just other big projects. So I have quite a few of those to show you. And while we're talking about knits, I can show another one I finished. This was my first finished project of August, and in comparison to this sweater, this is quite a small and light kind of knit. This is the Camisole No9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and this is knit in Drops Baby Merino again, but this is in vibrant green, I think. As you can see, it's quite a vibrant color. This color is impossible to get on camera. It changes like depending on what kind of light it's in, but it's a really vibrant green. I really wanted to knit the Camisole No9 up in a vibrant color because I also think I'm going to knit it again next year and then maybe go for a neutral color. But this summer I really have been grabbing and gravitating towards a lot more vibrant colors with this sweater and with this camisole, so it's been really nice to knit with more vibrant colors and not just beiges and greys. I knit this in size small and I knit it on 2.5 millimeters, so this was a project. It took me quite a long time because you don't make that much progress when you're knitting on 2.5 millimeters. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. It sits really tight on me, but I think that's perfect for a knitted camisole. And even though I finished it quite late in terms of getting any use out of it during the summer, I think this also will pair very well with different cardigans. So I'm really excited to bring this with me into fall and winter. And I think this also might make me make more cardigans just to suit this one, because I really like the look this gives with cardigans, like my Giftknit, for example. That's why it goes really well together with this bright green color. And I have a whole video about the process of making this and everything if you're interested in more of that. But this was my first finished project in August, and then I'll just keep talking about knits while we're at it, even though that will be a bit back and forth. So I have a knit on my needles as well. This is currently my only the only thing on my needles, and that's it's really dark yarn, so you can see all of the different hairs, my hairs and my son hairs and the cat hairs and the dog hairs. But this is the Eva Cardigan by Petiteknit, her newest pattern, I think, almost her newest pattern, her cardigan pattern. I'm really into cardigans lately. All I think about is cardigans. I just want to knit cardigans. And I really liked the simple look of this cardigan. It kind of reminded me of like a librarian, and I'm a big fan of like librarian cardigans. That's like my favorite kind of category for cardigans, is library cardigan, as I like to call them. So I'm really excited for this cardigan. It's really dark, so I don't know if you can see, but I also really liked, it's so dark yarn, I liked the shoulder detail here, and you picked up stitches for the shoulder, and I really like the construction as well on the shoulder here. And I really liked that the raglan had 3 stitches. I think that's really nice with like a thick raglan. So now I'm just working on the body. I think I have a bit less than 10 centimeters to go before the ribbing. I'll have to try it on to know better. But this is really exciting knit for me. I am super excited to both work on it and have it done so I can wear it. And another super exciting thing about this is that this is my first time trying out Petiteknit. Originally I wanted to knit this in some stash yarn, but I found out that I didn't have enough of the yarn in my stash, and I really craved to cast this on. And we have a local yarn store that they have mainly Sandnes garn, so I dragged my fiance there and got him to buy me how many skeins is it? 13 skeins, I think it's for my size, of Petiteknit, and that's also what the pattern actually calls for. So it's really exciting to both knit a pattern in the yarn that's called for, because I almost never do that, and also to try out a brand new yarn. And also it's Norwegian wool, so it's just really fun, and I'm having a really good time. And so far, very pleased with the yarn. I think it works up beautifully, and I've heard very many good things about Petiteknit. I've heard like the sweaters you make in Petiteknit, they will last you a lifetime. You can wear them forever. But I have to say, when I'm knitting with this and having it on my lap, the wool definitely, like, it's a bit itchy, and it itches my thighs when I am wearing tights, because the wool fibers like prick through my tights, so I have to like keep an extra layer of protection over my thighs when I'm knitting on this. So I hope that when I wash it and wear it a bit more, that the wool will get a bit less prickly, because if I want to wear a t-shirt under this, it definitely can't be as prickly as it is now. But I've also heard from others that you have used it before that the itchy factor calms a bit down after a few uses and a wash. But all in all, I'm super happy to both be working on this cardigan and to be trying out new yarn. And then the yarn in my stash that I originally planned, kind of hoped to use to knit a Eva cardigan, that's in quite a similar shade of blue. It's this yarn here, as you can see, it's quite a similar shade of blue. Maybe this is a bit lighter. And I hope to have enough yarn in my stash to make the Eva cardigan in the junior sizes, so me and my son can match. It won't be exactly the same yarn, but it will be the same color and the same pattern, and I thought that would be really fun. And I've also had this yarn in my stash for quite some time, so I'm really like scrambling my brain trying to figure out what I can do with it to de-stash. So that's the Eva cardigan, and hopefully I'll be able to make a junior version as well. That would be really fun. But now I have to look in my book to see. I remember to bring my book this time so I can see what I've actually been doing this month. Yes, I'll show another like big item now. It's another adult knit, but this time not for me. I visited my parents earlier this month, and I talked a bit with my sister, and she had a lot of drops wish that she didn't know what to do with, and we counted how many skeins she had, and she had 9, I think, 450 grams, and I googled to see if that would be enough for a Louisiana sweater, because I wanted to knit a Louisiana sweater for some time now, and 450 grams, when I googled that should be enough to make a Louisiana sweater. So I got the yarn from her, and I have made her a Louisiana sweater from that now. It's in the off-white color in Drops Wish. It turned out to be quite a light sweater actually, even though the yarn is really thick and the gauge is huge, but it's a really light sweater. I think that's because I chose to knit it in one strand of Wish instead of 2 strands of Drops Air or something like that. And I'm really pleased with the result. I think it turned out beautifully, and this was like my trial project to see if I can make Louisiana sweaters in Drops Wish, because if I could, I thought that would be a really nice Christmas present or something like that. So when my sister had Drops Wish laying around and I could get that to try it out, I jumped at the opportunity. I ended up using 395 grams of Wish, so I had a bit of yarn and then a whole skein left after this one. So definitely, and I knit in a size small, so it's definitely doable with just 8 skeins of yarn if you want to make a Louisiana sweater. And it's also so soft because it's blow yarn and it's a mix of wool and bamboo and something else, I don't remember, but it turned out so soft and fluffy, and it has a bit of halo even, if you can see, and it was so fun to knit up as well. This neckline took some time because you had to knit quite far because it's like folded down, knitted down. But the yoke and most of the sweater, I think I knit this whole sweater in 48 hours. So it was a really big change from like, I went quite directly from knitting the Camisole No9 on 2.5 millimeters to knitting the Louisiana sweater on 9 millimeters. So it was quite a shock to my hands and a shock to me how fast everything all of a sudden went. And definitely 9.5 millimeters, it's not for me. My hands really get it and start hurting, but it's super fun to have a project on thick needles once in a while because the progress just moves so fast and it's just so fun to work on. I still haven't weaved in the ends. I spent 48 hours knitting up the sweater and now I'll spend 2 weeks procrastinating weaving in the ends, and that's usually how it is for me. But I wanted to hang on to this sweater until I filmed this podcast, and now my sister can get it. So now I have no excuse to not weave in the ends. I just have to get around to that so my sister can get this. But that's all for like the really big pieces of knitting. Then let's see. As I said, after the Louisiana sweater, I had 1 skein and a bit of yarn left after that, and I really wanted to just use it all up, all of the yarn that I got from my sister. So I cast on a November Balaclava Mini because I thought the gauge would work out. So I knit that up in that off-white color. I don't have that with me because I've already given it away, but I'll pop in a picture. I knit that up in what was left of the off-white color, and I got quite far actually. I did the whole like balaclava and most of the ribbing on the neck, but at the last few rounds I ran out of Wish. Luckily my mom also had a few scraps, so I cleared out a few of her scraps as well. I got some sage green scraps from her, and I did a couple of rows of sage green around the neck, and then the whole ribbing around the face is in sage green. And I cleared out all of the Wish I had and a whole color of Wish for my mom. So this was a really nice scrap yarn project as well, and I ended up with a really nice November balaclava that I could give away. It definitely did not meet gauge because when I was finished with the the balaclava, I knitted in the smallest size, and that's 0 to 1 year. And when it was done, I tried it on my son, and he's 2 years and has quite a big head, and it fit him with room to spare. So definitely did not hit gauge, but it all worked out, and it's proportional and everything. So no harm done, and I got rid of scrap yarn, and I was able to give it away to one of my son's friends. So it was, all in all, the perfect project, and just what I needed after tons of huge ego knits and huge gift knits. It was a really nice refresh. And talking about gift knitting, I have my huge list of gift knits. I am knitting for my aunt that's having twins, and as you can see, it's not going super well. I have crossed off almost nothing. I don't think there's a few things I actually can cross off, but I haven't yet. But I have to pick up the pace on gift knitting. But I can show what I have made, because the rest of the month was really spent gift knitting. First off, we have Monday suit. This Monday suit I've shown before. I've knit this quite some time ago, but I figured it was just in my gift drawer, but I figured out this would be a perfect gift. So I've made another one in just a slightly different color, but I think these colors go quite well together. So this is the Monday suit in Peanut, and they're both in the size 0 to 1 month. So they're like itsy bitsy, they're so tiny, it's wild. But this one is the one I made this month, and I've even been really good and sewn in the buttons. So all this needs now is a wash, and then they're both done. So this was a really nice twin knit to make, because usually when with twin knits you have to knit identical things, but since this already was done, I just had to knit one, and that was really nice. And I love Monday suits. I think that the way this is rounded off, so you always have to do like an increase or a decrease or something someplace, really keeps me motivated. And it's not just you have to do 1,000 rounds of stockinette and purl, because that can be really hard to motivate yourself for. But I really like the way this makes you always have to think about something, because I feel the rounds go a lot faster then. Also helps that they were in the smallest size, but I'm really excited about having finished like the first part, because when I have 2 I count that as finished. So that was the first, and these are both knit in Drops Baby Merino, and this is in the beige color, and they both took like 100 grams of yarn. So you can do this with 2 skeins, but I would get 3, because all of a sudden you use a bit over, and it's better to have too much than too little. But yeah, that was the first part of the baby gift. And then I started on a set, and I did not realize, but making a set for twins, it's sometimes very hard to motivate yourself for, because not only do you have to make everything twice, you have to make more of it, because it's a set, so there's different components. But I'll show it. And this set, I actually got the pattern from this book that I've borrowed from my grandma, Strikk til søtnoser by Little & Loop. There's some really cute patterns in here, and I just flipped through the book because I don't have any digital patterns for premature knitting, and I thought since it's twins, it's probably smart to have some premature clothes. So I've knit up jackets. This is the Peanut series, so this is the Peanut jacket, and it's so small, it's ridiculous. This is like the size of my hand almost, and it's a jacket. I've not weaved in ends or done buttons, but this is the first one, and this is like the texture on the Peanut series. Quite a fun texture to knit and really simple as well. This is knit in Drops Baby Merino in the color light grey, and this is the only thing I've done in the light grey color, because I'm doing it 2 colors since twins. And then I also have the jacket in sage green. Once again, the same thing, super tiny, and this lovely texture, and not weaved in any ends, not done anything. My plan with this set is that I'm knitting all of the pieces in both of the different color, but I thought I'd like mix the colors up like that, so the grey jacket gets the sage green what's it called, hat, bonnet, and vice versa. But I've made the whole set in the sage green color. So here is the bonnet, just also ridiculously tiny. It's, what's it called, garter stitch here instead of, oh my god, garter stitch instead of I-cord here. So that goes together with like the garter stitch edge all around the bonnet here. So I quite like that. I don't know if it's quite as easy to tie as an I-cord edge, but I thought it looked better together, so that's what I went for. This bonnet in the size premature was so ridiculously fast to knit. I think I knitted up in just a bit of an evening, because the structure is quite addicting and you can see your progress quite easily. Premature is a super small size and it takes up almost no yarn, so this went really quickly. And then the last part of the set and the last thing is this, what's it called, romper? I don't know what it is in English, if it is romper in English, but this is the Peanutromper. And this is maybe the thing that looks the tiniest. Here are the straps that go over the shoulders, and then I have to do buttons here, so this goes together, and here are the tiny leg holes. This, even though this is quite a tiny knit and it went quite fast because it's tiny, this was quite intricate because you have to do increases around the legs here, and the increases have to work out so this structure works out as well. So everything has to happen at the right time, and I have to do everything correctly, so that was a bit hard. I'm used to like doing it and then crossing my fingers and hope it turns out as it should, but here I had to make sure that I was doing everything right, and I think it turned out really cute, but I think it will be cuter once all the ends are weaved in and the buttons are done, so you can see it a bit better. But as I said, my plan is to like mix it up like this, so one twin will get my plan is to mix it up like this, so one twin will get the grey jacket and then the sage green romper and the sage green bonnet, and then vice versa. The one with the green jacket will get the grey bonnet and the grey romper, but this is as far as I've gotten. And that's really all of the knitting I've gotten done. I really didn't finish much until I was like halfway into the month, because this took so ridiculously long to get any progress on. So I spent like half the month just doing this and then doing a bit of this in between. So I didn't get that much done. So I definitely feel like I'm a bit behind schedule when it comes to my baby gift, because as you could see, I have crossed off almost nothing. So I'm prioritizing this. Just I'm going to finish my cardigan first, just to get my knitting motivation a bit up. And then I'm prioritizing baby knits. And then I've also, if you've seen my previous video, you know, but I've started planning my fall knits. So here I have like my basket of inspiration for my fall knits and what I look at when I need motivation, because if I finish more of the baby knits, I'm allowed to cast on something from here, and this basket is full of planned ego knits and other fun projects. So I'm drooling at a lot of stuff in this basket. But if you want to hear more about that, you can watch my most recent video that's all about fall knitting plans. And then I hope to do more stash busting, because this month I just need to look at my cheat sheet. This month I knit up 1,608 grams of yarn. So you would think that that would mean that I had stash busted and my stash of yarn would be smaller, but I ended up buying 1,700 grams, and then I got some yarn from my sister, and that was 450 grams. So that combined is 2,150 grams. And when I only knit up 1,600, you get it, my yarn stash grew by 500 grams, so it's not really going in the direction I wanted to. But I got this super lovely, vibrant yarn for a gift for my father, his birthday. He specifically asked me to knit this in this color, and I couldn't say no. It's going to be a zipper sweater, and it's going to be my last zipper sweater for a while, because oh my god, I need a break from sewing in zippers. But I just could not say no to knit up a zipper sweater in this color. I think it's going to be amazing, and I'm so excited to be knitting it as well. But of course, when I was going to buy yarn for the zipper sweater and for my father, that was quite a lot of yarn. I think just this is 17 skeins of yarn, so that's what, 850 or something grams. So just that was like a substantial hit. And then I also, as you know, bought yarn for the Eva cardigan, the Petiteknit, so I got 650 grams of that. But that will hopefully leave my stash quite fast. And then when I was at the yarn store, they also had a sale. They had 50% on all yarn types that were like no longer being produced. And one of the colors were this golden brown colors that is mine and my fiance's absolute favorite color, hands down. So when this was on 50% off and they don't produce this color anymore, we had to get it. So I also got all of the skeins they had of this. This is mini alpaca in the golden brown. They had 4 skeins, so I got 4 skeins, and now I just have to figure out what to do with this. But I think it might turn into some type of pant for my son, because he doesn't have any pants really, and we are heading into a season where you need wool pants. But that's, as you understand, when you buy that much yarn, your stash is bound to grow. But now, moving forward, I hope there's not going to be any more surprises where I end up buying yarn. I think I need to stick to my stash now, because I have a lot of projects to work through. But that is really my knitting update on August. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and a comment, and if you want to see more from me, subscribe. Bye!